Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson. Again, no Jim Jonas. But we have Cathie France, but she's also an advocate for our guest, Wayne Conte, who is a Vietnam veteran, served their country in combat, and he got screwed royally in the Clark County family court system by family court judge Sandra Pomerantz. And ironically, we thought that we got rid of Sandra Pomerantz because she didn't run for re-election, but instead she retired. And now she is one of our senior judges. So what that means, folks, if an elected judge is off for that day for some reason, they're sick or they're taking some kind of continual learning education classes or whatever the reason is, they got a doctor's appointment, the senior judge comes in and takes over that courtroom for whatever judge it is. So Sandra Pomerantz is going to be one of those judges that takes over the courtroom for a judge that is absent. But Sandra Pomerantz is one of the worst judges out there. She was caught on camera telling a litigant that she needs to go and comb her daughter's nappy hair, which is a racial statement. She has done so many things to screw up the family court system. She also denied Robert Madoff and his wife Marianne for not seeing their grandchild Sky after they raised Sky for 8 years, and she completely cut him off from seeing the child, which is a civil death. But enough about that. We're going to hear what Wayne Conte and Cathie France has to say about their experience with Sandra Pomerantz in their courtroom. Wayne, thank you so much for your service, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Give us a little bio.
Well, I joined the Army in 1965. I went to Vietnam in 1966 and didn't leave Vietnam until 1971.
Wow.
5 tours.
5 tours.
5 tours.
That is a lot.
They
of
turned him
tours.
down for the 6th tour.
Yeah, I tried to go back for a 6th tour and they turned me down. So they sent me to Japan for 7 years.
Wow.
Then I came back, did 3 years at Fort Hood.
Fort Hood where?
Fort Hood, Texas. And then from there, 3 years later, I went back to Japan for 3 years as active duty and then 20 years as a DOD civilian.
So how many years were you in the military for?
20 years, 15 days.
Wow.
I was medically retired because of the cancer that I had in 1984.
Which was it Agent Orange?
Yes, it was.
Okay. I know a lot of Vietnam veterans that are suffering from that.
But one thing about this cancer, to show you just how bad it is, 99.99% of U.S. population would not make it past 5 years. April of this year, I started my 38th year cancer-free.
God bless you.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
God bless you.
Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
Cathie France, a little bit about you.
Oh, okay. Wow. I grew up in Los Angeles. I started at 19. I started working for an attorney, and I thought it was fascinating. I could type about 110 words a minute, so I was extremely useful. I went to several law firms, and I learned different type of law. Okay, it was really interesting. Then I moved to Las Vegas in 1981.
Okay.
And I decided to try to be a dealer. So I learned how to deal craps. And I started downtown. And then I was lucky enough to get a job at the Hilton. They needed to get more women on the table. And that's where I met my first husband. And we were married for 23 years and we had 2 children.
Wow.
And after, with the craps, I couldn't stay at the Hilton because, he was there also. So there was
Was
a
he
conflict.
pit boss or something?
No, he was a dealer,
Oh.
a dealer in craps also.
Okay.
So I had to leave the Hilton. It's now another name and I can't remember the name right now.
Westgate.
Westgate, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I went back into legal secretary And I worked for George Dickerson, who was absolutely fantastic. And George Dickerson, we did family law. And so then after that, I started, I learned how to sew when I was 12 years old. And I started my business in 2007 making wedding gowns.
Okay.
Wedding gowns and...
So you're a seamstress.
Yeah, a seamstress.
Okay.
And I had my business for 12 years.
Okay.
And I made some beautiful gowns, wedding gowns. My favorite were, this young lady came to me and she says, we want to be the Disney princesses, you know, like Belle and Ariel. So I made all of their gowns. And what they did is they went to the hospitals where the kids had cancer.
Oh, wow.
And they did that. So as a matter of fact, that's how I met Wayne. In 2017, he asked me to make a shirt and a tie for him. And then he started telling me about his problems, you know.
And you're like, I'm out of here.
And what? Say that again?
You're like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. I started to feel sorry for him, like he needed so much help.
Right.
And with my experience.
You want to know something? Hate to cut you off,
That's okay.
Ms. France. But when the veterans in politics first started in the family court and court observing and protesting against the corruption in family court and created a YouTube channel and showing the public and educating them what actually goes on in the courtroom, a lot of people, including judges, said to me, why is veterans in politics involved in family court?
Good question.
And here we are.
And here we are.
A 5-tour Vietnam veteran, 20 years plus, got screwed over in family court. That's why we're involved in the family court.
Makes sense.
Please continue.
All right. Well, Wayne's going to talk a little bit. He mentioned the cancer that he had. You were married to your first wife.
I was married to a Japanese woman. We got married in Honolulu, Hawaii.
You know, I was engaged to an Okinawan some time ago.
Mine's up above, up
I
in
know.
Tokyo
Hey,
area.
you want to know something? Mr. Conte? You know, when I was in Okinawa, I taught myself Japanese. Okay. And then I went to mainland Japan. I believe it was Yokota or something like that. I forget what part of mainland. And I went to Tokyo as well. And I was speaking Japanese. And the first thing the Japanese people said to me, "You're from Okinawa."
You're kidding.
Because
Yeah,
the dialect is different.
Okay.
They say, "You're from Okinawa." So it's like me, you know, coming from New York
Or Boston.
or Boston
Yeah.
and going to Texas.
Right. Quite different. Exactly.
You know, the English is it's still English, but it's a different dialect. So they knew exactly that I was taught Japanese in Okinawa because I was using the Okinawan dialect and the Okinawan slang when I was speaking Japanese.
Mm.
Please continue. I just wanted to share.
Well, I forgot what.
Okay, I'm going to help you out. Okay, so you were married to
Japanese woman.
Yeah, the Japanese
to
woman.
Sagano,
Okay, now
and I had 2 sons from that.
yeah, 2 sons, and they're brilliant, by the way. Anyway, tell how you met Jesusa.
Okay.
Jesus is the lady who's suing him, you know, for the divorce. Okay, but they were never legally married.
85, I was medevac to Clark Air Base, Philippines, because the lymph nodes all in my neck were sticking out.
Oh, wow.
And they thought the cancer came back.
And that's from the Agent Orange.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Are you 100% service connected, sir?
I've been 100%.
Okay.
So what happened, there's CT scans broke down.
Okay.
So they medevaced me to Travis Air Force Base, California to get the CT scan. And then right back there, they reviewed the CT scans and the report.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting down there in the Philippines for almost 2 months.
Okay.
I blew up in the hospital. I just couldn't take that confinement in that hospital.
You also have post-traumatic stress disorder?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't awarded that yet. And so the doctor says, go downtown for a few days. So since I had the money, then I stayed at this hotel for about 4 days.
Okay.
And then I met a friend I knew from Vietnam that owned a bar.
Okay.
I never thought I'd never see a person that.
Small world we live in, sir.
That's where I met her.
Jesusa.
Susa Conte, Susa Espana.
And that was about January 1986.
Yeah, it was right over that New Year's holiday weekend.
Okay.
Okay. And he was still married to...
I was still married.
You're still married to the Japanese lady.
Yeah.
To the Japanese lady,
And
right.
Jesusa Conte is a...
She was just in the bar. What did she work there?
She worked there.
What's her background? What's her ethnicity?
Philippines.
Philippines. Okay.
Yeah.
So, some reason how she got a forged marriage certificate dated 4 January 1980.
January 4,
86.
1986. Right. Okay.
And she used that marriage certificate to buy a house or borrow money.
Let me stop you right there. How do you get a fraudulent marriage certificate?
It's very easy.
Very easy.
Because a
In the
marriage
Philippines.
certificate, you have to get it notarized and it has to have the stamp on there and the
I
little
agree.
seal.
Because
Okay.
there has been a lot of numerous cases on forged adoptions and forged marriages.
So she got a forged document that says that you and her are married
on January 4th, 1986.
in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the military accepted that document.
No. She used it. I didn't know about it. And she used that marriage certificate
Right.
With
to
his
buy a
husband.
house for her parents and her brothers and sisters in the Philippines. She borrowed the money.
How did she borrow the money with the marriage certificate? What, she went and got a VA loan?
American. So they know they're going to get the money.
I see.
Okay.
But don't you have to sign documents for a house as well?
Anyone can forge a signature in the Philippines. They got the greatest forgers on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
But don't
They're
you have
notorious for it.
Isn't there like a realtor you have to have witness these? Because I know here, buying a house here, the documents are like that big.
No.
This is
They're
also
like that,
back
a
in
single
1980.
page.
Yeah, this is also back in 1986. So things were a lot different. So anyway, so he met her in the bar. She said that they were married on January 4th, 1986. He's still married.
Right.
Okay. So
They got a name for that.
what's that?
When you're married more than once.
But yeah,
It's also a crime, isn't it?
it is a crime. But they were never married.
Okay.
Okay, so he got a divorce from
From my first wife, January 3rd.
July 6th.
July 6th,
1986. Right. So he's living in Japan now, and in September, all of a sudden, Jesusa shows up in Japan and says, "Okay, we're married," and so
I had no document proof to dispute it. As far as the military goes.
Now he actually
that's what I'm saying. So the military accepted this fraud marriage.
The second one, and the second one was dated August 16th. August 18, 1986, and it was registered 9 days before the marriage date. How can you have a marriage certificate that's registered 9 days before when the marriage supposedly got married? So that's the way it was. And what the court said, and we'll get to this a little later too, is that he went from Japan to Hawaii to get the evaluation.
Under TDRL regulations, that means temporary disabled retirement list. You've got to go in for a medical evaluation every 2 years.
Okay.
So I was supposed to report. I reported to Hawaii in August
11th, I believe.
Yeah, August 11th, 2000. 1986.
Okay.
So I had to sign. I had a leave slip from my civilian job to go to that. It's these same orders will bring me back to active duty, telling me to report to the commander of Tripler Medical Center in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Okay.
And I'm not going to disobey those orders because I can lose a lot.
So basically, he went.
court-martialed.
Right. So basically, what he did is he went from Japan to was at Tripler in Hawaii, had his evaluation, and he flew back to Japan on the 16th of August. Well, the marriage certificate says that they were married on August 18th, which 1986. Well, that's ridiculous. You have to, if you do that, you have to go to get to the American Embassy in the Philippines. Supposedly, let me restate that. Japan to Hawaii. They said he went from Hawaii to the Philippines to get married, and then he went back to Hawaii. And as he was telling you, and then back to Japan. Then what he was saying is those orders would not allow him to go to the Philippines. But in one of the hearings, which we will talk about in front of Judge Pomerantz, they went behind closed doors, and we're not even sure when that took place because there's no record of it. And then they come out and say, okay, you went from Japan to Hawaii.
So the judge conducted his case off the record.
Yes. Right. And then they came out and said, okay, Japan to Hawaii, Hawaii to the Philippines, got married, and then came back. And he called them a bunch of, and I don't know if you can say it on.
Yeah, you can.
Hey,
What did you call him?
I called Steinberg, Mr. Root, and Judge Pomerantz.
Michael Root.
Yeah, Michael Root. And I called them a fucking liars. Because my last 5 years in the military, I was 71 Lima. That's admin. Okay? My last 3 years in the military, I cut TDY orders for 9th Corps and U.S. Army Japan. And on those orders, if an officer or enlisted going back to States for TDY and they want to take leave after the TDY is over with, it's got to state on those orders. It's in taking leave in conjunction with TDY.
Who was your attorney representing you at the time?
Steinberg.
No, it was another attorney, Bernstein or something like that, over on Cheyenne.
Okay.
And he quit on me because I wouldn't give in to their demands.
Right. Okay, so let's go back just a little bit. So she shows up in Japan in September 1986. He could not dispute any of that. He didn't have any documentation. So they ended up living together for 25 years.
I want to know what documentation he would have to show to say that he's not married.
Well,
I've never heard of a document, unless it's a divorce decree. But if there weren't any marriage, you can't get a divorce if you're not married. So what documentation were they looking for so he could prove that he's not married to the person?
We do have that.
Four things, discrepancies wrong with that marriage certificate. She tried to submit it in the court. So the judge actually accepted that forged marriage certificate in the court by saying, let's stipulate you're married.
You're talking about Sandra Pomerantz.
Sandra Pomerantz. She said, because
don't say the judge, say her name so people know exactly.
Judge Pomerantz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The four major discrepancies wrong with that marriage certificate makes it a forgery. It was registered 9 days before the marriage day. My military order says I wasn't even there. 3, she's using her married name on the land deed title dated June 6, 1986. 4, there's no letter of legal capacity. You need to have from the American Embassy in order to get married in the Philippines.
So let me ask you something. On this marriage certificate, is your signature on it?
It looks like mine.
Okay, so what did you get a signature expert to verify that's indeed your signature that's on those documents?
Let me tell you about the forgery documents in the Philippines. They're so damn perfect. You couldn't tell the difference.
Did anybody ask for a signature expert?
Hey, I could have signed my name Wait a minute. In the bar, you know, I had to, every time I bought something, I had to sign a receipt.
Mr. Conte, why didn't you ask for a signature expert?
Couldn't afford it.
Didn't even think
Yeah,
of it,
didn't
by the
even
way.
think about
Didn't
it.
even think about that. So what happened was they moved to Nevada in 2010, 2011.
August 31st, 2005.
Okay.
Okay, she files for divorce in 2011.
She files for divorce for a pretend marriage.
Correct.
Okay.
And it went before Judge Pomerantz. Okay, there were several hearings that when Steinberg was his lawyer, second lawyer, on February.
Is this case sealed?
It is, but we'll explain why it is sealed. Okay.
And you know, do you know? All right. So let me ask you something. When you go on the district court website, could you pull up anything on that case?
Not right now because
Okay. See, that's against the Nevada revised statute because the orders are supposed to be visible to the public. If the entire case is gone, that's a crime. So I don't know why these courts are allowed to completely wipe off a case off the website. They're not supposed to be able to wipe it off. Even if it is sealed, you can see the orders.
the attorneys can get into it.
But I'm saying the general public could go in there and see the orders. That's the way the Nevada revised statutes is written on sealed cases, that you can see the orders. It doesn't say that you have to completely wipe off the entire case.
Right. Well, on February 24th, 2012, his attorney, Mr. Steinberg, actually got a letter from the Philippine government stating that there was no marriage between Wayne and Jesusa.
Case closed.
But they misspelled his first name. He spells Wayne, W-A-Y-N-E, and they had W-A-I-N-E. And Judge Pomerantz says, no, that's not valid. His name is misspelled.
So why did she ask for his attorney, to go back and correct the spelling of the name and then bring it back in front of the court?
She refused.
What an asshole, Judge Pomerantz, you are.
Yeah, she refused to do that. And that's when she asked Michael Root, Jesusa's attorney, to provide the marriage certificate. And they couldn't find it. So that's when she said, all right, we're going to stipulate that they were married and we're going to go under Nevada law. She even stated that. That's in our...
Did she quote the law?
No.
Of course not.
Now, okay, and we mentioned that when they went behind closed doors, that was in another motion hearing before the trial. The trial was scheduled for August 8th, 2012. His attorney quit on him 3 weeks before the trial, and he asked, would you please give me time? He went to 16 attorneys, and no one would take his case. She refused to give him any more time to find an attorney and had the trial. He represented
himself and screwed it up.
No idea how to do anything in the court.
That is a violation of his constitutional rights.
Exactly. What
because you got to have the legal representation.
And she refused. So he had no idea what was going on in the trial. No idea. So the divorce was issued.
Because that's exactly what she wanted.
Exactly. So she awards Jesusa $1,000 a month for 15 years.
For what?
Alimony. Is that outrageous? 15 years? I mean, I was
what
illegal.
Happens if she gets married, the alimony's gone, right?
Yeah, it would be. But I mean, in all the years that I did family law, I never saw a judge issue 15 years of alimony.
So, Mr. Conte, did you file a judicial discipline against this
filed
judge?
An appeal on the divorce decree, and the lawyer, his last name is Aquino. I don't know what his first name is. He was doing the appeal. Then out of blue moon sky, his assistant tells me he can't do any more on the case because he got disembarked for some real estate transaction.
And by the time
he got disbarred.
And then, so in the 30 days time limit went by, and there was nothing he could do. He could not do an appeal against the trial and the divorce decree. You know, and everybody, you know, several of the judges.
So he hasn't formally filed an appeal with the Supreme Court?
No, he couldn't. He couldn't.
Because this bar lawyer screwed it up.
You can't get another lawyer to.
Not after 30 days.
So you lost your statute of limitation?
Yes.
Yeah.
You ever thought about suing the judge in federal court
Yes,
for violation of
we have done
constitutional
that.
rights?
Right here.
Yeah, we filed in September 2020 a case against the state of Nevada and Judge Pomerantz. And very interestingly, they
So it's in federal court right now.
it's in federal court right now, and they both answered, said no, you can't sue a judge. You know, you can't sue a judge. The law says you can't, and we stated, Your Honor, we said to the magistrate in our document in opposition to their thing to close the case, we said, please just look at the facts. The judge okayed everything, dismissed what their opposition to the thing is, and now we're in discovery. We have asked for $100 million for what he has been put through because of Pomerantz.
And what was the purpose of awarding her $1,000 a month? What was
We
the
don't
reason?
know. We don't
don't
know.
know.
I mean, and she even had a degree from college.
So when she ordered the $1,000 a month alimony, you're 100% service connected.
I wasn't then.
You wasn't then.
No.
You are now.
I am now. I didn't get my
How long
100%.
has this been?
I didn't get my 100% permanent 100% until 2006.
And you still have to pay this $1,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And he has refused to pay it, by the way, because they were never married. And she keeps taking him back to court. And, you know, he owed $29,000 in back pay. They added,
he has no kids with this woman.
no, they actually have two daughters.
He has two daughters.
Two daugers, right.
So what about child support? Was that
No,
part of
There's
it?
none.
There's none. The children were
Grown.
right.
So then why is she getting alimony?
We
I
don't
don't know.
know. We don't know why Judge Pomerantz did that.
So let me just recap. So the judge accepted a fraudulent marriage certificate. His lawyer got a letter from the Philippine government, said that there is no marriage. And instead of the judge going back and says, get the name spelled right and we'll take another look at this, she completely refused to even do that.
Mm-hmm.
She also denied him his constitutional right to defend himself with an attorney after the attorney on his own decided that the attorney was going to leave the case
Right.
and wouldn't give him time to get a new lawyer to represent himself, forcing him to become his own lawyer and not knowing anything about the legalities of what he's doing. So it sounds like this judge completely set this man up to fail.
Now, what we did also, and I forget what the date was, 2018, we filed a complaint in the 8th Judicial District Court, and we had the documents proving that the marriage certificates were forged. We showed the land deed title, and it went before Judge Kadish. And Kadish actually just was elected to go to a higher court. Kadish says, no, this is a family court matter. I'm sending it back to the family court. So Judge Pomerantz got it, and she goes, no, this is a civil court case. What we filed, trying to show all the forged documents, even on the adoption where they adopted her sister. She had a forged birth certificate because she had to be a younger age than she was. Showed all that. It went back from Pomerantz to the 8th Judicial Court. It went before Judge Bixler, who is a fucker.
James Bixler.
I don't remember what his first name is. He says, okay, and I got to stand next to him, thank God. I have not been able to stand next to him in any of the courts yet. And so he goes, okay, Mr. Conte, I'm going to let you talk, but I want to say some things first. And he chastised him for bringing such a stupid suit against, in the 8th Judicial District Court. And he says, well, why didn't you get an appeal? And he said, I did get an appeal, or tried to, but my lawyer was disbarred. And Judge Bixler goes, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I'm dismissing this whole case. And he awarded, right now, it was Richard Crane with the Willick Law Group, $4,900.
For what?
For his attorney's fees in that case.
What was this before Richard Crane was deemed a child pedophile?
Yes, who was disbarred himself,
Exactly.
Richard Crane. I don't know how he got his license back, but he did, and he's working for Willick Law Group.
Another
Everybody is petrified of Willick Law Group.
Why?
And he went
I
to.
went to at least 10 different lawyers, and they all said the same thing.
And this
Well,
was
you know
after
what?
the decree.
Speaking of Marshall Willick, I heard that he has MS.
Oh, I was wondering about that. They said that he was sick.
Yeah, I heard he has MS.
Ah.
What's that? Muscular cirrhosis. Cirrhosis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's a pretty nasty thing.
Karma is a motherfucker, ain't it? There, Willick.
Yep. And they wrote a lot of the laws in the family court.
Yeah, but he's not a public figure. What a jokester. So Richard Crane, tell me a little bit more about this asshole.
Okay. 2018, he took over the case.
Okay.
Judge Pomeroy ordered him $29,000
For
back
what?
pay. He says back pay.
back pay.
And where are you supposed to get this money from? From your disability benefits?
No, they were taking it all from OPM. So the judge,
OPM, what's that?
Office of Personnel Management, that's a civilian that works for the federal government.
Okay, I want you to explain something. Explain the monies that you are receiving right now,
Okay.
and back
I
then
was
also.
receiving 4 checks. One from Social Security, 100% disability rating from VA, military retirement, and civil service retirement.
How old are you, Mr. Conte?
I just turned 75.
2 days ago.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're Virgo too as well, huh?
Yeah.
So that's his money, but they started to take money from him from the OPM and DFAS.
No, they couldn't tried to touch it.
Of
More,
course they did.
try to take more out of it. But I talked to DFAS. If they receive a court order to take more money, they're going to send it back, says you're not authorized. And they'll quote Title Code 10.
Mm-hmm.
And under Title Code 10, since I retired before the date of that marriage, proposed marriage, she's only entitled to 50% of disposable income. And that's what she's
He has a
getting.
job or something like that, and he doesn't have a regular job. So all his money is
Exempt by federal law.
by federal law. So in 2019,
I still don't know about this Richard Crane thing.
I was just about to tell you
Okay.
something. Okay, in 2019, May 2019 or 18, 19, he filed a writ of execution. Whoops, I lost my.
Oh, you can't lose your voice. You're Cathie France.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll just hold it.
No, you can stick it right on your shirt. Little pin right there.
I can't see it right now.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. All right. He files a writ of execution to take out $16,313.44.
14.
Oh,
414 and 33 cents.
$16,414 and 33 cents.
Richard Crane.
Richard
filed.
Crane against his bank account, and
For what?
to get the money for the garnishment, the $29,000 that he owed.
And in this bank account, was his disability going in there as
Yeah,
well?
it was all
because
disability.
in September 1st, 2017, VA paid me, before they took their legal fees out for my lawyer down in Texas, they paid me $96,000 in VA disability money,
So
back pay.
he actually received $77,000 of that.
After my lawyer down and got his fees.
Right.
So the VA money is armor proof. You cannot touch it. The service connected disability benefits is protected by federal law. You can't garnish it. The IRS can't even touch it. If the IRS can't touch it, why somebody think they'd go ahead and garnish out of your bank account?
The banks released the funds. But anyway, we filed a motion to stop the garnishment.
Okay.
So Judge Pomerantz tells Mr. Crane, stop it immediately. Mr. Crane waits 4 days.
Of course he did.
And by that time, it was too late. They had already taken out the $16,400.
So he has to pay it back. Did you go back? Did you go after him to pay it back?
We did.
Because apparently he failed to follow judge's court order, right?
Right. So we filed a contempt motion against him.
Up.
Yes. He's, of course, he's still a proper person. And I'm sitting in the back, kind of behind him, and I can't help him. And the judge goes, okay, so we're here because you're filing a complaint against Mr. Crane, correct? And he goes, yes. And then he starts talking about something else. Yeah. And he had no idea that he was. And so finally the judge got frustrated and she goes, okay, I'm dismissing this whole thing. And
so Crane stole his service-connected disability benefits out of his bank account, which service-connected disability benefits you can't take, you can't touch, you can't bankrupt, you can't levy, you can't touch. And then not only did he steal it out of his bank account, he went against the judge's order not to touch it.
Right.
So did you file a bar complaint against this asshole?
No. What happened was, though...
and you know something? I haven't cursed on my show in a long time.
Yeah.
But this just frustrates the stupid hell out of me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The bar complaint. Did you file one?
No, I'm trying to think of where I was. Where was I on that subject? There was something I needed to... Oh. On the writ of execution, they put his full name, his birth date, and his social security number.
Out there in the open.
And Wayne, well, it only went to the Henderson Constable's office, but he thought everybody could see it. So he told that to Judge Pomerantz, and she goes, okay, I will seal the records. So that's how the case was sealed.
Well, you can't... The party has to bring a motion to seal the court case, the judge.
He just asked for it in court, and so she said, I'll seal the records for you. Which now we can't get into it because we don't have a bar, license. I'm not an attorney. So now, actually, after Pomerantz retired last January, Judge Mary Perry is now on the case.
Another one.
Yeah, another one. Right.
And I warned the public about her, but they voted her in, so they get what they asked for.
So we have a motion that we put in to unseal the case so that we could finally... Well, Richard Crane files an opposition to that, and he asked to put Wayne on the vexatious litigant list.
Because he's trying to exercise his constitutional
Right.
rights.
Well, if you're on the vexatious litigant list, you can't file any more lawsuits, and...
I always ask this question because 65% of litigants in family court are pro per.
Are they? 65%?
65%.
Okay.
Would you repeat that again?
65% of litigants in family court are pro per. They represent themselves. So, and the reason why litigants are representing themselves is because they cannot afford counsel. Based on whatever the story might be.
Makes sense.
Okay, so they're trying to learn how to maneuver through the system, and the only reason why they're there is because they're protecting their own interests, meaning their assets, or they're trying to get custody or visitation of their child.
Yes.
A lawyer is there for one reason and one reason only.
Money.
That's to get paid. So a lawyer could file 1 million sheets of paper, and not once would the court say that lawyer is vexatious. Mm-hmm. But as soon as the litigant files to protect their own personal asset and to get custody of their own kids, and if they file too many paper deemed by the court, they're automatically vexatious. And vexatious is a violating of their constitutional right, because you have a constitutional right to defend yourself verbally and with motions of the court. And if a judge refused to allow you to be heard or allow you to file the necessary documents that you feel that would help your case, then that judge is violating your constitutional right.
Right. Well, we filed an opposition to his asking for the vexatious litigant list and to unseal the records. And then Jesusa, filed a financial disclosure statement. And it showed that she's actually making more money now than he is. So we asked also to lower the alimony, $300 and some odd. This hearing is coming up October 13th, next month.
Wow.
So we're going to find out whether he gets put on the list, whether they're going to incarcerate him. To incarcerate him because he's not paying the $300.
Oh, now they want to lock up a 74-year-old man
for 25 days.
Who did 5 tours in Vietnam.
Crane put that in.
Who was in it? I mean, Crane never served one little second in the military.
He said he did.
Lied about that. He said he served
did.
30 years in the Navy.
Really?
Yeah.
On videotape.
Maybe I should double check that.
Please do. Yeah, I'd like to see that. So yeah, that's where we are right now.
But regardless if he did or not, he's still deemed a pedophile.
Yeah, exactly.
Convicted.
And they still have that $16,000.
Which they haven't turned over yet.
We don't know whether she has received it or whether the Willick Law Group has it.
Come on.
Who
you think has that money?
Willick Law Group.
But there was one more thing I want to bring up too. I can't prove it, but ever since Willick Law Group took over this case, my car's been broken into, documents were stolen out of there, and my apartment here's what happened. We found an amended exemption showing what money is exempt by federal law.
And what they cannot touch.
8 hours after I filed that, my apartment was broken into and documents were scattered all over the place. They were looking for documents.
I believe that.
Well, they denied it. He
Of
denied,
course they did.
we wouldn't break in. They denied it. And then now also, Wayne filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy in May this year. And Richard Crane had sent him a letter for some reason, I don't know. And because Wayne knew that he was going to bankrupt on, put in the legal fees. How much were the legal fees?
About $57,000.
$57,000 for legal fees and $45,000 for back pay to her. And so he sends this letter to Wayne, and Wayne goes, "You are going to be royally fucked on May 3. And he mails it back to Richard Crane. Crane then takes out, what is that called? Restraining order against him. He can't go anywhere within 100 feet of him.
Call him,
and he can't even get on the phone. Call him. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
And you got a lot of battered women out there that rightfully should have a restraining order, and the court refused to give them one.
Yeah.
So funny how that works.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So we're going to see what happens on October 13th. See if he's going to get incarcerated, if he's going to be put on the vexatious litigant list, whether we're going to be able to drop the alimony that he's paying and to unseal the court records. That's what everything is going to happen on October 13th.
We're going to find out whether Judge Perry is crooked or not.
Yeah.
Or she's going to follow the rule of law.
Well,
I think she's crooked, frankly.
I think she is crooked myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's friends with that Jason Stoffel guy who's a Willick puppet.
Who's that person? I don't know who
Another
that is.
lawyer.
Another lawyer?
Yeah.
Jason
Stoffel.
Yeah. Have to look that one up.
We found in Nevada law, since she's making more money than me, about $700 some damn dollars more, and she received more than a 20% increase in pay in August. And we showed document proof of this. Mm-hmm. And under Nevada law, it says they must reduce the alimony.
And they still haven't.
I need to correct you just a little bit on that. The law actually says if you are paying alimony or child support and your income goes down by 20%, then they can lower the alimony being paid to the other spouse, supposed spouse. So we're hoping that we can kind of turn, because she's making 20% more. We're hoping that Judge Mary Perry will lower the income. We're just hoping that our federal case just,
Well, I hope you guys sue the crap out of them in federal court.
yeah, well, we'll keep you apprised on that.
We got so much evidence showing that the judge violated my 4th, my 6th, my 14th Amendment, overruled 3 federal laws, Title Code 10, the Disability Act of 1990, and the Veterans Disability Protection Act 2010. And also showing she overruled the marriage laws of the Philippines.
And there's also a Nevada revised statute that says you cannot use service-connected disability benefits for alimony.
Oh, they've done it.
They did it.
You know, we had to get a state law to say the same thing what the federal law says, because judges don't follow state law. I mean, federal law.
Federal law.
We
Just
know
state
that.
law? Oh.
So,
Well, anyway, we recently filed, I'm so excited, who introduced us, Burke Hall. We had lunch with him last week, and the young lady that was with him, she gave me a document, a power of attorney limited. Now I am able to sit next to him in the divorce case and also the federal case. I can actually sit next to him because and hopefully they're going to allow. You know, I mean, I've been a legal secretary for 17 years, okay? And I have a good background, but I don't know exactly, you know, the laws, you know, or the cases like Simon versus Smith, you know, all the numbers. And that, for me, that's hard to find, you know, because I am not an attorney. But I have done a really good job on all that. You should see how many documents I have filed since.
Well, it sounds like there is a lot of corruption going on within this case.
Yes.
From the judge to the attorney, and we need to get somebody arrested.
Oh, that would be lovely.
But you know, one
Or
thing
put in
is,
jail. Yes.
when Ruth was her first lawyer, was May 2013, the Judge Pomeroy signed a court order to take 75% of my VA disability check away from me. It went to VA.
75%.
75%.
They
And
just want to put you in the streets, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, Mr. Conte, but one thing that's going through my head right now, you know, when these judges come up for re-election, they talk about how they love our veterans. We love our veterans. And then they fuck them up in the doggone courtroom.
Yes.
yeah. And what happened, VA received that court order, and I found out they denied it because she's not entitled to it.
Right.
Just like if they try to garnish any more on my military retirement, they're going to deny them.
It's amazing. How can a judge say, okay, we're going to, and I'm talking about Judge Pomeranz, yeah, we're going to now take 75% of his disability money, which is exempt. How does a judge do that?
Because nobody holds these judges to task. That's why. They take it up the ass and then they walk away from it. Nobody really goes after them. Mm-hmm. And we just need people to rise up and start going after the corruption in our judicial system. And the more people rise up and go after the corruption in our judicial system, the better off as a society will be. But when people turn the deaf ear and the blind eye, especially all you good judges out there that knows what's going on, you know, and all you good attorneys that knows what's going on, you guys just do this.
Well, we're in 6 months. Hopefully, we're going to trial in the Supreme Court
in federal court.
In federal court, go to trial in front of a jury. Okay, that's what we asked for, and they're going to hold Sandra Pomeranz accountable for all of her mistakes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it ain't for no chump change.
Did we miss anything?
No, I think we actually got through everything.
Did we miss anything, Mr. Conte?
As far as I can, one more thing. There was 2 other medical incidents that happened after the cancer. 2001, my appendix broke on me.
Oh boy.
I survived it.
God bless.
And then in 2006, you won't believe this. They removed 2 life-threatening tumors off of here at age 60. And the doctor told me, you have less than 2% survival rate at the surgery.
Oh.
And let me tell you,
And you're still here.
I'm still
You
here.
know why you're still here, Mr. Conte?
To bring down these
You know why you're
crooked
still
lawyers
here?
and judges.
After 5 tours in Vietnam and all those life-threatening surgeries you had, you're here to take down that family court corruption. That's why you're
Yes.
here. You're here
Right.
to make that Sandra Pomeranz pay.
Yes.
You're here to make that Richard Crane pay. And I think Marshall Willick are starting already getting some payback.
Yeah, he is with the MS.
So things will happen.
And
Things will
Wayne,
happen.
Wayne is very hard of hearing. He's lost most of his hearing. He's wearing hearing aids right now. But what he's gone through, that's why I'm helping him out so much, because I just can't believe everything that he's gone through.
And the next person that tells me why is veterans in politics involved in family court, I'm going to backhand them. Mr. Conte, could you please look at the camera and tell folks anything you want, close it out,
Okay.
and your point of contact if you want to give it.
Okay. I just request one little bit of help. A straight lawyer that's not crooked that will help me in federal court on my lawsuit.
You want to give your phone number?
My telephone number is 702-415-0779. I appreciate any help.
And also his email is w_Conte, CONTE @hotmail.com.
Ms. France,
Mm-hmm.
could you tell your final words, anything you want to say, and a point of contact if you want to give it as well?
I am just so thrilled to have met you, Steve,
Thank you.
to give us this opportunity to make this public. And if anybody wants to speak with me, my name is Cathie France, like the country, and my phone number is 702 I forgot my phone number. I can't believe this. 702-339-8190. Thank you.
Well, Wayne Conte, thank you so much for coming on the program. Cathie France, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us.
Folks, that's Wayne Conte and Cathie France. As you heard their story, we have a very, very destructive family court system. And it's not just in the state of Nevada. It's all across the country. I have since veterans in politics have started this crusade against the corruption in family court. I have a lot of invitation to go to different parts of the United States to help them set up protests and to help them set up court observing. We cannot allow these judges to continue to violate our constitutional rights, continue to violate our constitutional rights, and nothing is done about it. This is absolutely ridiculous how we as a society let these corrupt judges and corrupt attorneys get away with this. We need to stop this. We have laws for a reason. We send legislators to Carson City, Assembly, State Senate to make laws, and these judges just make up their own laws from the bench and not even enforcing the laws that are written. This is absolutely ridiculous. If we're going to give judges this much power to make their own laws while they're sitting on the bench, and the laws vary from litigant to litigant. It's never the same. One litigant is this, the next litigant is that, but it's the same scenario, but it's different per litigant. It's never the same. The laws that these judges dictate from the bench are not fair. We need to do something about it. We need to rise up. We need to stand up. We need to make a judicial discipline commission strong. That way they could go after these corrupt judges. We need to make our state bar strong that way they could go after these corrupt attorneys. And these systems that we have in place are weak. They're weak because the people that are running them is weak. And we need to tell our governor he needs to do something about this. Nothing is being done. We need to tell our attorney general they need to go investigate. Nothing is being done. We need to go to U.S. Attorney's office. We need to go to the FBI's office. No matter what we need to do it. We need to expose it. And I'm asking all of you to do something. Get off your couch and do something. Don't just talk about it. Do something about it. Because this is absolutely ridiculous. We have a Vietnam veteran, 5 tours, 5. Some people can't even do 1. 5 tours. And this is how we treat him? Come on, folks. We could do better than that. This is Steve Sands for Veterans in Politics. Until next time.